On today's video, we're going to be talking about this light and why it has quickly become my favorite light that I've ever owned. But first, if you don't know who I am, my name is Nigel and I make filmmaking related content here on YouTube, typically geared towards the more budget filmmakers. So if you're into that kind of stuff, it'd be really cool if you subscribed and hit that little notification bell so you can be notified when I upload new videos. But yeah, we're going to be talking about the Falcon RX8T. Now, I've looked on YouTube and it didn't seem like anyone's actually done a review on these little lights, which is kind of a shame because these are actually really cool. So as some of you know, I actually really like Falcon lights. I'm actually being lit by one right now. This is the RX12 with the softbox and the grid on it. Still gives a really nice soft light and the light doesn't spill around everywhere because of the grid. So yeah, I've used Falcon gear before and that's why I was kind of looking into this little RX8T. So I've used it for a few weeks as like my hair light in my more recent videos, but honestly, I liked this light so much that I went ahead and bought two of them. And I want to talk a little bit about why I like these lights so much, but what I also wanted to do was see how many looks or how many different lighting setups we could do with these two lights. Just using these, no other lights, just with some cheap light stands and an umbrella, and see what kind of looks we can get with these lights. Now, one of the coolest things about this Falcon RX8T is that it's only about 50 bucks. I bought both of mine for $47, but that's basically like the going rate on eBay is about $50 for these lights, and that is a really good deal if you ask me for what you're getting. So when it comes to small battery powered LED lights, the market is totally saturated with so many different options, but there is something that set these RX8Ts apart. So they can do basically everything that those other LED panels can do, with the exception of being bicolor. Now I'm gonna talk about why that isn't a very big issue to me a little later, but one of the coolest things about these lights is this. They are totally flexible, which I think is really cool because a lot of lights have those barn doors that you can close in, whereas with this light, you don't really need barn doors because you can just stop it from spilling by bending it in like this and having a lot more of a narrow beam angle, which is kind of cool. It kind of looks weird, but I love the fact that you can bend this light in any direction that you want to and it'll just stay there. So that's a really cool thing, and it makes it pretty fun to figure out what kind of situations I can put this LED panel in. But another cool thing is that these are actually powered by Sony NPF style batteries, which I think is a huge bonus as opposed to having the internal battery. Like my little Socani X21 over there is giving me a little bit of a hair light, and that one's got an internal battery that I have to charge all the time. But with these, I have a bunch of these NPF batteries just lying around, so I can just charge them up and have a pretty bright light powered off of just one battery. And it's obviously dimmable, which is great, and it comes with this little ball head, so you can put it on the light stand and just be able to maneuver it however you want to. And another cool feature is if you are using these lights in like a more studio environment, like maybe you're using them for like a YouTube setup or something like that, you don't have to run them off these batteries, because even though these do last for a really long time, I think I've gotten like an hour and a half out of one of these smaller batteries. You don't have to run them off of batteries. They actually have a DC jack right here, so you can just plug it right into the wall and just run it off of wall power, which is pretty cool if you ask me. So yeah, these have, I believe, a CRI rating of about 94, which is really good for, $47 light. But yeah, these are really bright lights, and I feel like for most people, you can do, 75% of what you're gonna need to do with just one of these lights, or maybe even two. How do I get around the fact that these lights are not bicolor lights? They're just daylight balanced at about, I think it's 5600 Kelvin. So the way that I get around it is actually really simple, and since these are so like thin and like flexible and whatnot, that actually makes it a lot easier to just put some gels in front of your light. And these aren't even real gels. I got these are binder dividers that I got from the dollar store, and you're basically good to go. Now, this isn't a perfect solution, and I would definitely suggest getting some actual CTO gels to put in front of your lights, but if you wanted just a really cheap solution, this is as cheap as it gets. Just some really small clothespins and some binder dividers to get some different colors into your video. That's what's cool about, having a light that's like so small and portable and malleable, I guess, is that it's really easy to just, clip a gel on and get some different looks. Okay, so now let's go to some scenes that I shot with just these two Falconize RX8Ts, and I just used a basic light stand. I powered them with batteries, and I used an umbrella as a diffuser just to make the light a little bit softer. Even though these can, dim and, get pretty soft, they're still a small light source, and so with an umbrella, it'll help make it a bigger light source and make it a much more appealing look. So yeah, let's cut to those clips right now. So as you can probably guess, this shot was obviously lit with two of the Falconize RX8T lights. There's one right above the box, kind of lighting up the box so you can see it, and it's, it's kind of adding a little bit of light to my face. But there's obviously one in the box as well. And that's kind of want to demonstrate that even though I typically wouldn't use this kind of a lighting setup very often, having like a bunch of light coming from the bottom and hitting my face, I just kind of wanted to demonstrate how small these lights are, and you can fit them in really small spaces, which I think is really cool. So this setup I'm going to call the YouTuber / talking head setup. And what we have is a RX8T behind a umbrella. This is a really cheap umbrella, and I have another RX8T with an orange gel hitting the back of my head to create this hair light. And they're both set at about, I don't know, medium power. They're not at full brightness at all, but yeah, this is the kind of look that you can get. As you can see, for two $50 lights, this can be an easy YouTube setup if you wanted to use it like this. All right, so in this shot, I kind of just wanted to demonstrate what it would look like if you weren't using any diffusers. So this might be a situation that you find yourself in where maybe you just forgot an umbrella, or you couldn't really find anything to diffuse your light. So it can still give you a usable shot. And as you can probably guess, I have another one giving me a hair light. It's actually lighting me from above just to kind of, separate me even more from the background. And I am using a practical light. You don't really need this. I'll turn it off just so you can see what it looks like. So this is what it looks like without any practical light on behind, but I just like to keep a practical light just to add some interest and a little bit of color contrast when I'm filming. Well, let's really quickly switch to a shot where I'm being evenly lit by both of these lights without any diffusion. Here are these two lights again. This light stayed in the exact same place. I just brought this light back over so it's lighting my face evenly. As you can see, there's very minimal shadows. So if you just want to get a really nice clean shot without any harsh shadows, you can just use two of these lights and evenly light your face. So in this shot, I'm not using any diffusion per se, but I'm actually bouncing an RX8 off the ceiling and the wall, and the light's bouncing back and hitting me. So this is a really easy and free way to get some nice soft light coming down at you. And like I said, these are actually really bright for just being battery powered lights, and I can bounce light right off the ceiling. Just for fun, I have another RX8 over there, which is giving me a little bit of hair light again. So yeah, super simple. So all in all, I love these lights. I think they're a great bargain, and for the money, I think that they can do a lot for you. They can be a key light, or they can be a hair light or something like that. And I feel like I just really wanted to share how cool these lights were, because as you can see, you can get a really nice soft key light with a smaller light source like this, as long as you diffuse it in something. And if you can't afford a 120D or just a bigger studio light with a softbox, but you still want to get soft light, you can do it with smaller lights like these. You just have to make sure that you diffuse them and just don't point them straight at your subjects, because it's going to cause a lot of harsh shadows and it's not going to be as flattering. So anyways, Falconize RX8T gets a thumbs up from me. I didn't get paid by Falconize to say this. They didn't even send these out to me. I paid for these with my own money. This is an unbiased review. I just really like these lights. I'm gonna have some links in the description to where you can pick one of these up, or two or three or whatever, but I really like these lights. These are awesome. So yeah, links for these will be in the description, and there's also gonna be a bunch of other links to gear that I use and recommend. But last thing, there is an affiliate link to Musicbed if you wanna start a 30-day free trial and get the best music for your videos. Definitely go check that out, but you can click right over here if you wanna check out some of my other videos. But until next time, I will see you all later. Bye.